Oh, we're off.
Things are happening. Game number 2, everybody. The first map we actually asked. The first map, that was when we had the first pick on the side of Diamond Skin. That makes a whole lot more sense since it was pretty transparent that EE didn't really know how to react against the draft, how to react on the map. So right now we're moving a bit more into familiar territory with Battlefield of Eternity being the second map here. EE is down one game in the best of 5 series, so they have to be a bit careful with this. But Diamond Skin, their strategy really working out for them, doing very well here, getting that first victory in the best of 5. So we're heading into our second draft, and now we have actually Muradin being banned out. Didn't really expect that to happen here. We had seen very different priorities in the series before that. But let's find out who's going to take the lead here, and of course what we're going to see in terms of like picks and bans again, heading into a completely different map and setup.
So the Muradin ban is fairly fine. It's still a pretty strong pick in general. It's pretty scary, and it was played very well by Chris Potion in the previous one. And for those who were watching the Gold Cup, the build of it is changing a bit. We did actually see a Sledgehammer combined with Ironforge Momentum build coming in from Zero, I think. Oh no, it was from Dignitas. On that map, so we saw a little bit of focus on that. So it is strong. It can give a lot of burst in terms of burst compositions and bursting down the Immortal, but it does give EE the ETC.
ETC, so it's the battle for the control tanks again, which we've seen at BlizzCon also a fair bit. These days, Johanna is oftentimes used as another tank that you can pick up, and moving highly in priority up for a lot of teams that even prioritize her over a Muradin or over an ETC. But at the moment, we have Li Ming for the poke against the Immortal. We see Brightwing again for the global mobility here as well. Not really as important on Battlefield of Eternity as on other maps, but still Brightwing definitely their priority choice. They banned out Malfurion also. So let's see how EE reacts to this. This is a game where they have to show us a completely different approach. They have to really show that they're here to win this.
Yeah, because this is their last chance. After this, it's just the Open League, and that's a long way away, so the teams really want to get into this. So, EE, what are they going to run now? They need some Immortal focus. Valor is very popular for that purpose. It's going to be Zarya to start off with. Good poke, good sustain. Pretty strong in every scenario.
Yeah, Zarya had a couple of weak games early on today in a different series, but now there's a huge amount of poke that they have here. When we're talking about Valor, there's a couple of ways how you can play the hero. Very dominant is the arrow build that we have on the map. You can still play with a multi-shot if you're just trying to poke away, but it's more like popular to go into the arrow and try to get the value out of that. You are oftentimes fighting in the middle of the map where there's no real minions to distract from the arrows. So they're not going to bounce off a hero towards the minion wave, and then you don't get actual hero damage value out of it. So decent picks here for EE for sure. High priority on Vala, a little bit higher than I expected for them, but it makes sense. And let's see what the bans are going to reveal right now, as the Diamond Skin boys are going to have their second ban of the series.
Yeah. Then the question
Supports.
is, what is it going to be? Supports would be good for them, because they already have the Brightwing. That is a good idea. Ariel works very, very well with the Valor. In terms of mortal damage, it's usually going to be Karazim or Rhaegar that comes out ahead in terms of those, so either of those could be a bad if that's what they want to try and deny.
I would definitely see an Oriel if they want to ban on the supports, but they are more worried about that top lane and ban out the Thrall. Alright, so Thrall, of course, overall a big game changer, and is another hero that they played in the last game, so Diamond Skin, when it comes to drafting, is doing really well. I like what they're doing here. They had already a couple of targets bans in on the last map, which was their choice, and it's a map that we see very rarely played, so they had an advantage there going into it already. Now they are adapting a bit to what EE has been drafting too, and they ban out the Thrall for the potential solo lane here. Whereas EE has a variety of heroes they can ban, and they are apparently worried about that snowball potential. So, and also, of course, the Immortal pressure. So that's why we're immediately seeing a ban on Sylvanas.
Yep, makes a lot of sense for them. Now Diamond Skin get their choice of tanks. What do they want to go? If they can't pick Muradin, they can't pick ETC. So usually it's going to be Johanna here, but Johanna doesn't add the most in terms of Immortal damage, but you kind of have to pick something in that scenario. We could also see the Tyrael, who has a little bit more in terms of the damage department, but also dictates how you want to take fights.
Stitches, even depending on how you build the composition, can be played on the map. With them picking up a Tychus, I doubt it a little bit. Usually when you are going into the Stitches, you are trying to isolate a target, so you either pick Falstad for Gorge into Mighty Gust, or you are picking at least the Malfurion, so you hook into Roots. They don't do that, so it's a bit unlikely that we're going to see Stitches being dropped for them right now. But we still have them with a lack of frontliners, and that's where, as Tetra already said, we could still see the Johanna, the Tyrael. We've seen the Haka on this map as well, so he could be played here with a second frontliner on top of that too.
Yeah, what are they going to run? Plenty of tanks. The Haka, even on this map, not the worst choice. It is going to be the Johanna, which makes a lot of sense. They get the Tychus, they miss out on damage, but they already have good single target damage in the form of Leeming and Tychus. And it gives them a lot more teamfight potential, so they can just play around that as opposed to playing around killing the Immortal and racing.
Yeah, talking about like racing, we will probably see a little bit of extra damage on the side of EE. We currently have them with the picks, and it needs to be a bit of support that they're adding to the lineup that they're playing here. So I suppose in this setup, an Oriole would do fairly well for them. I don't really see them picking up a Tyrande comp here. We've been always talking about Tyrande with the trait that she can help to focus an Immortal down. There's been a lot of also like CC comps where you're trying to capitalize from stun into stun. So it can be an option occasionally. With the setup that they're having here right now, I just don't see it. And they go into the Alarak and they have the Rhaegar with it. So it's a really solid setup for them. They have the shields to help out. They have the Lightning Shield that helps with the Immortal. Probably going to go into the Lightning Bond as a level 1 talent. And Diamond Skin can now react to what they are seeing on the board and pick another frontliner for themselves.
Yeah, the question is which one they want to go with. They also have the option if they want to go for a bit more hybrid as opposed to just a straight up frontliner. They could pick Greymane. He is still available for them. He has a lot of immortal damage. Samuro, also available, which won't give them a solo laner. It's the Dahaka we talked about earlier. So they have another melee, have a solo laner, and they have a good amount of CC.
I like the Dahaka. I think he gives them a little bit more frontline sustain. His burrow and his essence is helping him to really just like fight through this, whereas a Greymane would make them a very squishy setup, especially with the Brightwing as the only source of sustain here. The map is starting up, guys, so Battlefield of Eternity. Game number 2, EE going up against Diamond Skin. So let's head into the second map and find out which team is going to take it here. Alright, time for EE to show if they're here to win this. Last game was a bit of a, with the exception of one fight, a pretty one-sided story.
Very much so. See if they can bring it back. We have all but one of the players. We do have all the casters. We are just waiting for Crisplosion.
Alright, so once that he's in the game, we can make that work. Just I have to double check something here really quickly, and that's looking good. Okay, so ready to rumble in game number 2. Everybody readying up, and let's see who's gonna take that game now. This is the moment where they have to show their skills. If EE loses now, then I think their chances of making it through here, knowing them as players and like how sometimes nerves are being affected, are very slim. So far, only BGenius has been able to win 3 in a row after being down this far. So let's check that out.
Yeah.
They are really... What do you say Crisplosion is missing us? Right.
Yes, I believe so. And there he is.
Alright, cool.
Cool
7 out of 10 already.
indeed.
Alright, let's get the show on the road and see what's going to happen here. Overall, I actually like the draft on both sides quite a bit. Like, we have solid lineups for both of these players. It depends a lot on Philoncilium with Zarya. It didn't really work out too well for the Jabronis, the Zarya comps that they had.
Yeah, I would agree. I will say in terms of immortal damage, I think EE has the edge. I might be wrong on that one. But Diamond Skin, they have once again a good amount of pick potential, especially with that Dahaka now. So see if it works for them. But for now, we are entering the countdown and the loading screen for game number 2.
Alright guys, let's jump into it and see who's going to take it there. The lead is ready for Diamond Skin. They took the first game. They played very well there. The map choice in itself already was pretty cool. Was a nice strategy. I like it. And let's see if they can make something similar happen on map number 2. And yeah, very solid lineup now for both of them. The globals that we still have shouldn't really matter as much on Battlefield of Eternity as they did on the first map on Warhead Junction.
Yeah, the globals allow you to soak the lane a little, but overall, it's always about racing the Immortal.
Game number 2, everybody. We have Excelente Eleccion going up against Diamond Skin. BKB to the left side for the blue team with ETC. Zelia is playing Vala. We have Grand Paquetto on Rhaegar, Celium on Zarya, and Zarmony on Alarak. To the right side of the map, Diamond Skin with the lead in the best of 5 series here at the HGC qualifier. They played very well. They had the map choice on number 1 and exploited that fact. Chris on Liming now, Nanda on Dehaka. We have Wolf Joe on Brightwing. So 3 heroes, the same as in the last draft. Raid Boss on Tychus, and Chris Plosion is currently playing Johanna. Let's find out if they can make this a 2-0 or if EE is coming back to this. It is indeed the Q build on Vala as expected on this map, just very powerful with this particular style of play.
Yep, you get a huge amount of value in terms of immortal fights. Another talent very much worth talking about here is the Guitar Hero on ETC. Now basically, when you're fighting the immortal, you're going to be auto-attacking it a lot as ETC. So you get a lot more sustain from this, as you are healed for 35% of your damage dealt with basic attacks while your guitar solo is activated, and it increases the attack speed bonus of your Rockstar passive by 5%, and that is a huge deal, especially when you have heroes like Vala and Zarya on your team.
Brightwing jumped down to the bot lane right now because he was actually at the top lane together with Dehaka because you have the mobility there. They were not quite sure what to expect here, and once they really confirmed that 4 heroes were pushing the bot lane, Brightwing immediately jumped back down. So they had a couple of lags right now, as you can see right here on Wolf Joe, but it gives us the opportunity to talk a bit about the talents. Tetra already talked quite a bit about like the Guitar Hero and the advantages that you get there. But when we're looking at the opponent side, a talent that we still have to point out again, even though the hero has been played for a while, is the Primal Aggression on Dehaka. It's one of the talent that really makes all the difference since Blizzard changed it. The Wave Clan Dehaka has finally allowed him to be a great solo laner. Before that, he was usually part of rotations, part of a 4-man, and occasionally made his way to the solo lane to set up a gank. But since Blizzard increased the damage on it, he has now enough wave clear to easily sustain himself through a solo lane. And that's also where we normally see the Essence collection through minions over the Hero Stalker taken up, just because he will have additional lane sustain through that and can deal, let's say, with an Alarak.
Yeah, the extra duration that you get as well as the duration is increased when you get the cooldown reduction on level 7 with Dehaka. With the extra duration you get from Primal Aggression, if you can stay on one hero for the entirety of Dark Swarm, then you are able to get the cooldown basically permanently off. Because you get the cooldown reduction, the extra duration, and you're able to keep it up all the time.
Yeah, we have currently the push happening at the top lane, as expected there. And the bot lane, this is really where the battle is, of course, going on as well. And it would have been a bit of a surprise if Demolition's Expert would not have been taken by Zarya. It's kind of the build that we're seeing these days with the focus on the Particle Grenade. It's pretty easy to also like stack the quest talent, so Zelium is going to play a huge role here later on to also help his allies out, of course. But we are waiting for that first Immortal Wave to be started, and that's happening right now. EE, they have to show themselves here now. The last game was very bad for them, and they need to get themselves some confidence with a victory here, or Diamond Skin will have a massive, massive advantage going into game number 3.
We immediately see EE starting on the Immortal, getting a bit of a head start, in fact, with Diamond Skin were playing a little bit more passively, hiding in the bush, seeing if anyone was defending, and because of that, EE with a huge advantage in this race, especially seeing as Dehaka isn't currently helping.
Yeah, they're fighting him before it's there. Nice combo out of Alarak. They're going for Raid Boss, and this time it looks like Tigers might fall. BKB confirms the kill. Job well done. Now they have to be careful since the Immortal is here, so stuns are going to be on the ground. But that was an important kill for them. They move back to the fountain. Of course, the death timers are still very low, and Tigers will be back in a few seconds. But they are starting to make their play for the first objective.
Yeah, and we see Zarya gaining a little bit of energy here by using Alarak getting knocked back by the Immortal here. So we're going to see the first Immortal of the game going over to EE thanks to that big head start. But the shield's going to be very low thanks to that good zoning by Diamond Skin, good delaying by Johanna. They were able to do a very large amount of damage to EE's Immortal.
One of the things that I also want to quickly talk about is the level 1 talent on Rhaegar. Going into the Wolf run is very common, but mostly when you're playing on this map, you see Rhaegar going for the second Lightning Shield. And that's not the case. The Lightning Bond really allows you to get a bit more siege damage out against the Immortals. So they completed that slide now in favor of having more mobility on Rhaegar. So an interesting touch here, just like a personal preference, I assume, on the side of Grand Paquette, as they're now starting to push through at the top lane with the first Immortal of the game.
Yep, and we will see Diamond Skin able to harass this down. They in fact want to try and get a kill with Nanda, rotating up to the top lane, but BKB on point, able to power slide out of that. So the Immortal gets a bit of damage onto the fort.
At the bot lane, Zarmini has now completely control over that lane because the Haka at the top trying to move down gets actually interrupted here, intercepted by BKB, Celium and Grand Paqueta. So it's a bit of time wasted. That is going to result in them losing out on experience.
Yeah, the towers will kill off the majority of those minions, except for one. They get 1 minion worth of XP. Good job. So they're able to rotate down, though, and this will give them control over this bottom Kazura. But guess where EE have gone? Straight to top lane to grab the Kazura up there to begin putting pressure onto Nanda. But Nanda, he, once again, as we mentioned before, has that primal aggression. As long as he waits patiently for the Vesting Cap to push up, he will be able to clear it very quickly.
I really like the push, the interruption of the rotation that we've seen there. That was great, and that gives them an experience lead, of course, in addition to the structures that they already took down. But yeah, at this point, Kazura camps on both sides taken, and both teams rotate now aggressively, especially EE is sticking as 5 already. Now that we are not even on level 7, and they really move as 5 on the map. They got a bit of pressure against the top thanks to the Kazura camp, and they use that to simply push as 5 the bot lane, and they can now simply rotate someone to the top once that the lanes are going to be pushed out. But before that, they want to go for their own bruiser camp, which is, by the way, the same thing that Diamond Skin is going.
I would like to point out, though, that Diamond Skin managed to defend bot against a 5-man with 2 heroes and only lost a tower and most of their gate health. That was actually a really strong defense, considering how much pressure they were under. And they were able to get their Kazura, as their Fallen Shaman as well, just in time. BKB power sliding away from the Condemned there, not getting caught out by Crisplosion.
We have Iron the strongest on 4 and pinpoint accuracy taken on Zarya. So going very much heavily on a focus with a level 4 talent on the strength of the shield that are being used here. We have also Calamity picked up after Charge Blast and the Force Armor. Force Armor in particular are going to be important for extra survivability here. And now it's time for Diamond Skin to really try and capitalize a bit more on their globals. And this is where the Haka and Brightwing come into play. That are both soaking lanes still before they jump into the fight itself.
Explosion not getting silenced, and we're also not seeing the stacking damage coming out of Zarmini. He did go for the Endless Energy to reduce cooldown on his Lightning, which gives him a little bit more sustain. We're seeing EE begin to move in and begin sieging onto Diamond Skin's Immortal right now.
Yeah, Celium is in position. We have, of course, by now on the level 7 talent, the repeating arrow taken. Vala just continuing the Q build, trying to get her stacks going with a puncturing arrow as a level 4 talent. Talking about stacking, Zarya nearly completing the level 1 talent with the Demolitions Expert. Is not going to take her much longer to really get the 40. We have still heroes rotating onto the lanes for the experience soak. It's not going to become a problem regarding the level 10 abilities, but eventually there is going to be a play by one of these teams. So far they're very patient, just going for the poke battle.
Yep, waiting for their opportunity. Vala even once again taking some time to head back to the top lane to soak against Nanda with the bot lane. Grand Paqueta poking his head in and out, making sure he's in range for the XP when it pushes up, but not wanting to get caught out by the Chris's.
Yeah, I like it. Look at the Chris's, exactly. Celium is delivering quite a bit of damage towards the Immortal. They have a slight lead there, and this is actually where Diamond Skin says, okay, we have to finally start doing something ourselves. Nice drag here against Zarya, but ETC slides in, goes for the big push, and they start to isolate Nanda. They get a lot of damage in against him, but they're not able to confirm a kill there. But a very good reaction by BKB once that he realized that his ally is in trouble.
Yeah, but them playing so aggressively is giving Vala so many stacks of her puncturing arrow here. She's getting a really good amount of damage here, which is going to allow her to poke down the Immortal even more efficiently here. And that's causing Diamond Skin to once again play a little bit further back. And the longer this lasts, oh my god, 3-man stun coming out from BKB there, and the double silence from Zarmini.
Yeah, great capitalization by Zarmini, but BKB is in trouble and Nanda moves in from behind. The drag misses though, and all of a sudden he needs to burrow since he finds himself in trouble. BKB sliding out, stunning him in the process. Very nice play on ETC. A lot of stuns and Alarak set up for additional combos, but they just need to disengage again. And it looks a bit like I'm going to eat my words, because I was completely convinced that level 10 would not play a role in this battle. As it turns out now, though, both teams have soaked 1.5 levels in the meantime, and EE is very close to picking up their level 10.
Yeah, both of these teams deciding that kills are overrated. They'd rather just wait for their level 10 here. BKB sees Crisplosion moving in, and once again, Zarmini rotating very quickly along with the rest of the team. EDC power sliding into an Iron Skin. Smash touch, Johanna escapes, and they turn it onto Grand Paqueta, who pushed very aggressively here. He gets by the Immortal. Why would you do that?
Yeah, okay, the dog just committed suicide, ran into the stun. I don't think he really saw that. That seems like a bit of a wasted shield. Or can Nanda maybe make a play out of it? He's trying to go in. Good slides from BKB once again. He's playing a really nice ETC right now, making sure that he survives nearly every engage. But we have Rhaegar back, and they are still trying to see if they can make a fight happen here. It's halftime show happening on the map now, though. And as you said before, Vala is stacking a lot of damage already. She's currently at 65 bonus damage. She needs 7 more.
Williams getting off the Immortal Zalia, getting a huge amount of burst that he does have available with his talents here. Here's the Odin, though. Very early in this fight, trying to siege out here at the Expulsion Zone. Used to try and push heroes away, or at least force Raybos out of position, but everyone was already too far forward for it. Now we begin to see them move on to E's Immortal. E needs to put up a good defense here, but BKB's not here. He has to be back, but he does have Stage Dive.
The Odin was a game changer for sure. Stage dive into the back against Nanda. Trying to go for the combo, and a great combo. But the burrow is there. He should still fall. But the Immortal will be won by Diamond Skin. They get it. The question is, can they save Raid Boss? The answer to that question should be no. But let's see how it works out for them.
That's not what you want to be.
Okay, Raid Boss Sage is like, you don't see me. Let me out back.
He thinks, apparently, Raybos, considering the EE are T-Rexes, and that if he stands very still and Bs, they won't notice him. But EE, they do guarantee those 2 kills there, but now they have to defend against this Immortal. Shield already taken out on it, and they are still soaking bot lane thanks to Alarak.
Now, Vala with a puncturing arrow still needs additional 3 hits, so a lot of the stacking talents are by now completed. Of course, when we're looking at the Endless Energy, we're not quite there just yet, but overall they're doing well. 3 kills against 1, and this is much more what we expected from this series. Oh, very good drag bite. That was a great kill set up here by Nanda. Oh well, there we go. Now it's
Yep, finally taken down. I would like to point out that shield was pretty clutch. I don't think even Grab Baketa expected it, because he did have Ancestral there, so he could have saved him, but I don't think anyone, including himself, expected him to live there.
Yeah. I believe you're totally right. In that moment, he probably didn't think he could get that through. So, and also, even if you get it through, is it worth the cooldown? Because that's a pretty long cooldown compared that the death timers are still so low. And what do you really get out of it? There was nothing to win at the top lane at this moment. So, yes, you have to play passive for just a few seconds. But I think wasting the cooldown would have been a bigger problem, especially since you're not 100% certain you can save the target.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Very nicely said. And we're going to see Diamond Skin rotate out to the bot lane to attempt to grab another Khazra here. They already got top lane, so if they can get bot lane as well, they can continue to put the pressure on. But so far, neither team getting a huge amount. The only fort damage has been done by EE to this top lane.
Yeah, and both of them are heading into level 13, and they will also make a play, I believe, for their own camps. So we have the first one to the left side already taken. Over here to the right, Diamond Skin has to still clear it, but they, of course, will make that happen. At the bot lane, another Khazra camp is about to be taken out. Nanda is very much alone there, trying to soak a little bit, but he retreats now that the rest of them moves in. This is going to be 13 versus 13 for sure, so we are going to see the extra talents. They are already on the board for EE, but Diamond Skin will get those any moment now.
Yeah, and there they are, both teams with level 13s, and the immediate Immortal race begins, but a huge advantage for EE due to the fact that they brought 5 heroes, and Dahaka has only just arrived. Oh, sorry, Brightwing has. Dahaka still hasn't arrived.
Halftime show is starting, and both teams are now dealing with the camp taken by the opponent. Dahaka at the bot lane, over here to the top, it's Rhaegar. But Grandpa Kete is actually thinking about moving to help the team out. They're switching it out with Vala, who's taking the top lane now. Dahaka isn't there yet, but he can of course burrow. We also have additional wave flavor with the Burning Rage. We see Illusion is taken now, and the Ferocious Stalk, which is a great setup talent for Dahaka to allow him to just like have those aggressive moves after a burrow.
Yeah, Dahaka still soaking it out for the moment, being very, very patient for the moment, just giving his team XP. As long as the Immortal is not dying, he can continue to keep soaking. Also, talent taken by Alarak here, the Pure Malice, a very all-in talent here, which is a sort of counter to your team getting wiped.
Yeah, talking about getting wiped, there's the Odin again. Oh, and the drag, the heal, Celium gets away. Moves out. The Odin, on the other hand, again pushing it forward for Diamond Skin. They're trying to go in. Good move by Zarmony, dragging them into the stun range of the Immortal, but they have to eventually fight for this one. Raidbow still firing away here, and the Immortal of EE is going down, but we have BKB stage diving in. They're going for Dehaka again. The burrow has been used as a panic button, but he still falls, and this time they don't get the Immortal. They bursted it down heavily, but it is still alive.
Yeah, and they get the vision from the Peekaboo, from the Brightwing here, and they know that they are in some serious trouble. But in comes Johanna, try to force them into the boss, into the Immortal stun, but not going to do it. This Immortal will go over to EE. There's very little that can be done about this, and there it is. So, an Immortal will begin pushing the bot lane, which has already lost both of its towers and the wall.
It's really funny to see how every time Odin gets popped here, it's a huge game changer. The fight happens at the side of Diamondskin's Immortal, and then Odin gets popped. All of a sudden, the entire fight just like flips. We're seeing a huge play for Zarya, but the Ancestral saves her, and then Odin just pressures it forward up to the point where they retreat, they tap, and they go in again and make the play against Nanda. And that's really the game-turning moment there, or the fight-turning moment. Crisplosion! Gets annihilated by the Immortal, and the Iron Skin popped already. EE is showing us that they can play a lot better than what we've seen on the first map. Diamond Skin still in the game here, of course, but this time it is the plays of the blue team that really drive this game.
Yep, Odin is dropped though for the defense, drops some damage onto the Immortal and seizing him from out of range with the help of Chris with his arcane orbs and his arcane missiles here. So the Immortal will go down, but it takes down the wall, takes down the towers, and will it take out the bout? Yes, it does. That final swing, that last laugh there.
Those Immortals in the end are just so brutal. I mean, the longer the games go, it's just a single swing and down goes the well there. The second one, they actually pressure the top lane now also. And I mean, the more damage you actually put on this, if you win another Immortal, it's going to go through the top lane. So if you can take down the fort already, or at least pressure it, that's going to give you a huge edge and an advantage going forward to try and drop a keep. So they have a camp pushing through, they have the level 16 talent, which is another big opportunity for them. And this is where Vala compromises a bit and goes for the Frost Shot just because it gives so much utility.
Yeah, there's also not a huge amount of extra damage she can get in terms of Q builds here. She already has Sustain, she already has a huge amount of single target damage for the Immortals. She's pretty sorted. The Frost Shot just gets her that extra chain potential. Nanda getting denied by the telekinesis here. He tries again. There's nothing left to stop him here. Oh god, the counter strike getting interrupted there. Ancestral will keep him alive though.
Yeah, Ancestral keeping them in. Diamond Skin, sorry, not Diamond Skin, Iron Skin is being used here. The 16 talent approach that we just saw didn't really work out, and they dropped a lot of heroic abilities for that. Most of the cooldowns are very low, so it's not going to make a huge difference. The fort at the top lane, by the way, has been eliminated in the meantime, if you just look at it. So that was well done by EE, but Diamond Skin is getting ready for the fight. They want to have 16 so that they can face the opponent on even talents again.
Yeah, and they will have that soon with the help of Nanda, soaking the Nanda currently rotating down to a different lane, heading his way down to the bot lane. He does have that Ferocious Stalker, like we said, so he has been able to get down to bot lane quite quickly. He's going to begin clearing that up. Also, he took Primal Aggression at level 1. I don't think we... oh, no, wait, no, we did talk about that, sorry.
Slight advantage here also with the positioning that we have right now. This is a race for half-time show again. You're going to fight once they are down level 16. Fireflies has been taken. Chris prefers the talent lately quite a bit. Imposing presence and the armor-piercing round. And it's hunting season against Dehaka, but they don't get anything done here just yet. Crisplosion currently missing one of his condemns, but of course both of the teams posturing around to get an advantage. Keep the camp at the top lane in mind. Oh, Chris! Close call! But yeah, top lane camp is going to get value against EE.
Yep, the Fallen Shaman continuing to push up. Now we're seeing Vala, though, beginning to move into range onto this top Immortal. She can begin getting her full damage off on this BKB, even staying in there, getting a bit attacking. But the vision that is gained from Brightwing will be enough just to scare EE off, because they don't want to get themselves caught out, and if their opponents know exactly where they are, they can rotate efficiently against them. This is a bad choke point here. There's the silence onto the Zarya here, but the drag's interrupted.
Yeah, and we have the fort at the top lane eliminated by the camp. EE was willing to let it go. They said, like, what do we care about the camp? We want to win the fight right now. If you get the Immortal, we are solid. But at this point, they make the play. There comes the blessed shield. In comes the stage dive. Onto Tychus in the backline. They go again for Dehaka. He's so low, but he's still alive. And as I say it, he gets finally eliminated. 5 versus 4 once again, and EE is on the chase.
Yeah, the counter-strike from Zarmony guaranteeing that kill there, using the damage from Tigers as he was not able to stop it because all his abilities have a wind-up. BKB knocking back, giving his team some time to try and burst this down. They actually get Johanna. Nicely done.
She gets blown up. Oh, they actually ignore Raidboss for a moment even. They want them all. And now they're starting to go for Chris. But Zelia actually misses the arrow. Was outside of the range for just a moment. It's going to be another big play for the Immortal though. And we talked about it. The forts are gone, which means that this one's going to go straight for the keep itself.
However, a couple of them probably do need to be back for heals and mana. And Zalia won't be with them to start with because that camp kept going. It went all the way up to keep, has taken down a big chunk of damage on it, and has also drained a lot of mana.
I'm actually wondering if Zele had an opportunity to get a Frost Shot arrow up, a multi-shot up at the top lane before he got that arrow, if he had the mana. He went back to defend, so I forgot to actually check how much mana he had. And I didn't, of course we can't see the cooldown here, but it would have been great for them if they can kill Liming there too. One way or another, they find themselves in a great spot to push, and ETC is pushing the bot lane at the same time since he can still stage dive in, but they do not have a talent lead over their opponent, so there's quite a bit of poke happening from Diamond Skin, trying to make sure that their keep survives.
Yeah, BTC, remember, does have a stage dive, so he can join his team whenever, and now the Immortal is tanking the keep. They are capable of moving in. In comes the stage dive. It's complete dodge by everyone except for Nanda. BKB not going in, super aggressive for kills here, just making sure that his team guarantees the keep. But a good silence on Zarmony to Rainboss.
Yeah, but in the back line, there's the play from Celium. And from Nande, it's the kill against Alarak that puts them into a bit of an awkward spot. BKB sliding through again. He's playing really well on his ETC, always keeping himself and his teammates safe. Sometimes he's really going deep to get another quick W in and pushing everybody away before he's sliding out once more. So he's doing very well with this. And there's actually core damage now taken. So that's 72% on the core. That thing hits like a truck. It's crazy.
Damn, Immortal, too scary. Doing a great job pushing in that top lane, able to grab the keep and guarantee a huge amount of damage onto that core. And with level 20s now available for EE, they now have the potential of attempting to make another play if they're able to get some kills onto that core. And the talents we see at level 20, it is the Hasty Bargain coming in for Alarak, giving him a damage reduction if he wants to get all his cooldowns back in a pinch. We see the shield rewind, the unyielding defender on Zarya, Storm Shield for the Rhaegar, Death Siphon once again for the Valor, but ETC yet to pick, and the reason for this is there's a small chance that he wants to chase like this with the Bolts of the Storm into the face belt, but he doesn't get any value from it. The other option is he could have used it for the Death Metal, but once again, stage diving, no value yet. Cleanse use of Raid Boss.
Well, not quite no value. I mean, they actually burn a lot of the defensive abilities that they have. They want to get the kill while there's 20 still up, but they don't get it. So that's a lot of cooldowns burned, but they force the opponent back. And the only objective that really exists for Diamond Skin right now is get 20. That's what they need to do, get 20. And so far they haven't been able to do that. There's a play with a camp that has been taken for keep number 2, and the objective is coming up in another 20 seconds. This could be very well keep number 2, depending on how this goes. Or maybe they force the opponent to burn Odin. Not quite. It's enough poke damage for Diamond Skin.
Yep, but that keeps now open. It's lost some health, and a trap is being set up by EE. They decide to abandon it and move back. They don't know where everyone is. They don't even know that the Hacker, they knew that the Hacker was up there. They wanted to try and catch him, but he already beat back. Instead, they find themselves in a great position for the Immortal, so they're going to get a big head start on that.
There is still no level 20. This is going to be an easy 50% for them. So no level 20 talent, and that's a small time frame where you can pick it up, and that's where Chris is coming into play. So we have the Indestructible taken, the big red button. We're seeing also, of course, for Living at the same time, Repulsion, the Hardened Shield, Storm Shield taken. This could very well be the last objective, depending on how it goes. Diamond Skin needs to make a big play now. They need to win the objective at least if they want to stay in this second game and win it, or it's going to be a tie in the series, very likely.
Well, they're beginning to sneak their way forward. They, like you said, they have their 20s. We have that big red button, Indestructible, Storm Shield, Hardened Shield, and Repulsion coming in for them. So the question is, what can they do with it? Raid Boss harassing with grenades. You can take the extra damage on the grenade for level 16 instead with the armor-piercing rounds for the increased single target damage.
Yeah, good pokes. Oh, nice move here by Zelia. He saw that coming. He heard it. He heard Nanda moving in, and he immediately vaulted back. And that's a big problem right now. Nanda jumping in there, not getting any value, pushes now the blue team forward. And let's keep in mind that we have a big wave going onto the core. And that core has lost a fair amount of fair points already. So it's all about the shields right now. Li Ming is falling in the meantime. And they're just going straight for the chases. They're attempting to drop Wolf. Oh! They get Brightwing saved. And the Ancestral is too late. A 4 versus 4.
Nuke's doing some huge damage. They turn it around. They get Zarya. It's a 2-for-1 trade. And Brightwing is not defending the core. The catapult's still doing damage here. The midget's finally going to de-push that a little. But we do see Diamondskin winning the fight, and that's going to allow him to move on to the Immortal. But Zalia, the high-end raid boss, doing a huge amount of damage into the backline here.
That's actually getting crazy. They kill against Li Ming, starting things off, and then they still lose the fight where they should have driven it home. They are 60% on the core right now. Nanda has to defend still. Over here, that forces a 3. Oh, the combo! Raid Boss! Raid Boss is so low, but he survives and Brightwing saves him. The stun against Grand Paquette. Rhaegar on the run, trying to escape. He explosion with the Condemn. Grand Paquette is so low, drops the Ancestral just to get the cooldown off before he dies. 3 heroes dead, 2 coming back soon. Catapults still pushing it to the right side, where we have now, well, 2 heroes moving back. 1 catapult is there, another big wave coming in as everybody is still fighting over the Immortals.
The Immortals still alive. Neither team can gain advantage, and Johanna has just head back to her base just to clear the wave so they have a little bit more time so they can regroup. Everyone is now alive except for Rhaegar, and that's super bad for EE. And the second Johanna re-arrives with her team, they're going to be able to move in. Good vision gained by Wolfjo there, combined with Nanda, so they know mostly where the enemy team is. They know they're hanging around this Immortal area.
That's really a bit crazy. The Li Ming kill should have really snowballed it for EE, and it didn't. Here comes the engage, and again, it's just staggered deaths, or is it? They get away for now, but they are going to lose the Immortal now finally. Rhaegar, on the other hand, will be ready for the defense. But this is definitely not what EE expected when they confirmed that early kill against Li Ming there. Losing the heroes, catapults pushing at the same time, but not getting enough value. This game isn't over yet.
Yeah, they have to leave Nanda behind to the top lane because the catapults are still pushing, and the Immortal going to bot lane, not top lane, so they have to clear everything up manually.
Nice. So they're going to Hearthstone back and cancel the Hearthstone the entire time. The reason is simple. Everybody is hiding right now, so there's no vision at this point for the Diamondskin guys. So they're expecting a potential backdoor since their core is only at 60%. So they're just the entire time Hearthstoning and then cancelling it to make sure that they have a minimum amount of time, or like a minimal amount of time to get back in case there is a backdoor. But now that they of course know that there's a 5-man defense, they don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, they were leaving the globals in the base as well to de-push it a bit, and now that they know that everyone is back here defending, they've come as well. They tried to get the frag onto BKB, instead just get a nuke onto him instead, doing a fair amount of damage. Johanna going very deep for Alarak here, trying to take him down. The Ancestral doesn't get a huge amount of value, and Nanda's taking a lot of harassment here.
ETC's all the way in the back, starts to jump in straight on Raid Boss. The core is under pressure. They need to deal with the Immortal first. They go for Tychus. Tychus is down. The core is at 40% though. This is a disaster for EE. It looks like they're going to lose this second game. Chris is about to fall 10% on the core. It's over. This is over. EE loses game 2. Diamondskin take the 2-0 lead in this series. Well done. Well played. GG.